Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Brown Professionalism. I'm super excited to have you all back here for another video. So let's go ahead and get started. So today we're going to be talking about 5 ways that you can manifest everything that you want in 2021. Now, I know that 2020 was hard for a lot of people for a number of reasons. One being that a pandemic really just came out of nowhere and shut everything down. So many of the dreams that you probably had for 2020 probably went either out the window or you didn't accomplish as much as you wanted to last year. However, all that can change this year because as we can see, the pandemic is going to be with us for quite some time. And so we don't want to continue to put our dreams on the back burner or say, well, once this pandemic is over, we will do X, Y, and Z. You can actually start today. And what better way than starting off now as the year of 2020 has begun. So let's jump right into how you can manifest everything that you want in 2021 with these 5 easy steps and why you should manifest things rather than putting them on a dream board. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, so let's talk about why you don't want to use a dream board. So one of the first reasons that you definitely don't want to use a dream board, or the reason I don't use a dream board or a vision board, is simply because usually when I use a vision board, I take all my precious time. I will get the right pictures, the right wording, everything that looks really pretty. And then about the first week of February, I forget all about where the dream board is. I forget where I put it. If I packed it up, I might have thrown it away. And then on maybe like December 1st or towards the end of December, that's when I usually will find my dream board and find out that it's actually packed up somewhere and I haven't accomplished not one thing on it. And so about 2 years ago, I stopped even making vision boards. And that's simply because what I found was that the vision boards, it helped me to see what I want, but it didn't have me to put the work forth in regards to putting the faith and works together to achieve what I wanted in regards to my vision. And a lot of people that I talk to when they talk about their vision boards, they say the same thing. They always talk about how they create this pretty vision board, how they created something that they were proud of. However, about the first week of February, they don't even know where it's at. Or when they do find it, maybe let's say in June, they try to start back over. And then for whatever reason, they get bogged down with life or whatever is going on. And then they really realize, okay, well, actually, this vision board isn't working out. So one thing I realized about 2 years ago is that having a vision board, it really didn't work out for me. It didn't work out for me for a number of reasons. Not only would I lose my vision board, but I would also take my time and make it very pretty. And then once I lost my vision board, I will also lose my vision. And a lot of us, that's why we sometimes lose our vision, and that's why we don't accomplish everything that we want to accomplish. It's simply because once we put it down that piece of paper and that piece of paper becomes obsolete, we lose our vision. We lose what we are really out here trying to accomplish. And I think during that process, it also helped me to understand the importance of actually manifesting what I want, actually putting out into the universe and actually talking to God about what I really want to accomplish. Because I was brought up that when you go to the Lord in prayer, you go to Him in a sincere way, asking for things that you really want. And so when I do that, when I manifest what I want and I go talk to Him about that, I really talk about things that I actually want to accomplish. Because what I found out is what I was putting on my vision board were just anything that I thought I could accomplish for whatever reason, I would put it on there and then I would lose the vision. I really wasn't sincere about those visions that I put down. But when I began to manifest what I really wanted, when I began to talk to Him and to have faith that it would come true and also meet the vibration of actually putting the work in, that's when I saw things just happen. That's when I saw things such as me winning awards that I never thought that I would win. That's when I began to be elevated in my career on so many different platforms. That's when my organizations that I started began to elevate in so many different ways. And I think when I began to put faith and works together to manifest what I really wanted, that's when I saw things take off. And also, I do want to put this little footnote in here too. So last year, when I was talking to people about 2020, even early, this year, even though the year is really early, when I talk about this year, people always talk about that 2020 was a wash for them for whatever reason. But actually, 2020 was actually a blessing for me. And I was able to manifest so many different things by using these steps that we're about to talk about in just a minute. And I do want you all to realize that it will take some time for some of these things to happen. However, you need to make sure that when you are manifesting these things, that it goes beyond a vision. It goes beyond understanding that this is what you want for your life, but actually having the vibration and being willing to work for it. Now, before we jump into these steps, I do want to talk about a quick interview that I saw a couple weeks ago with Oprah. So Oprah was talking to this interviewer about her specific part in A Wrinkle in Time, a movie that came out a couple years ago. Now, I'll be honest, I never watched A Wrinkle in Time or anything like that, but I did enjoy the interview. And so with the interview, she talked about manifestation, and she talked about how she isn't one to script or write down anything about what she hopes to accomplish in her life or manifest in her life. However, she did discuss how with manifestation, you have to have a vision or the faith, and then you also have to meet the vibration of it, meaning that you have to prepare yourself. And so I think that's very important when we talk about manifestation and how to do that and the importance of it. So with all that being said, I'll make sure to try to drop that link down below so that you can go and watch the interview. Because even though you might be saying, well, she, who is she to tell me about, manifestation and that it really works? Go and definitely watch the interview. And even if you don't necessarily care for that particular person, I think that the work that they have done really speaks for them in regards to them being able to manifest something and have it come true. So let's go ahead and jump right into these 5 steps about what you can do to manifest everything that you want in 2020 and be successful with achieving them. All right, so let's go ahead and jump right into these steps. Now, I probably will be looking down because I do have some notes right here that I want to make sure I keep on track so that I can make sure that we keep this video as concise as possible. So let's go ahead and jump right into the steps. The first step is to make sure that you're being clear about what you want. As I mentioned earlier, when I had my vision board, I would clip any and everything and post it on my vision board, just anything. And the reason I would do that because I'm like, oh, I can accomplish this, I can accomplish that. And in all sincerity, in all honesty, you can probably accomplish as many things that you put your mind to, but you should be sincere about a couple things. My sister said the other day that you should be a master of at least one thing, or at least 2 things or 3 things. But being a jack of all trades, I think a lot of people are like, oh, I'm a jack of all trades. And we get happy about those type of people, which is very good. If you can do a lot, that's great, but you should be a master at something. And so you should be a master at achieving one of your dreams, at manifesting one of your dreams to come true successfully in whatever way that looks like. So yeah, you can put anything on your vision board to accomplish. However, when we're talking about manifesting, you should pick maybe 1 or 2, maybe 3 things and manifest and really work towards achieving those by having the faith and putting in the work. And that's why it's very important that you be clear about what you want specifically, because when it comes true, or if you're working towards something that you do want to come true, you want to make sure that it's what you want, you are as specific as possible and clear as possible. When I'm manifesting for things, one of the first things that I do, I go and I talk to the Lord and I try to be as clear as possible. And sometimes I might be too descriptive, but I try to be as clear as possible because when I get it, I want to make sure that it's right, that it's tailored exactly how I had envisioned for it to be. And so that's one of the first things that you should do. Now, the second thing that you should do is to make sure that you always keep the faith and that you always lean not to your own understanding. Now, I know that I'm using a lot of biblical terms, but I really think it's very important that when you're manifesting that you should have some type of root in something. And in my case, it's very biblical because I am a Christian. So when I am manifesting for things, I always understand that I always need to keep the faith and I have to lean towards, well, not towards, but I can't lean towards my own understanding. I have to lean towards a higher power. And that's simply because when you lean towards your understanding, you will limit yourself. You will limit yourself in so many ways where you will think that something is not possible simply because you can't imagine it because it's so grand or so big. And anything is possible. And so that's why you want to make sure that you keep the faith in what you are manifesting for, and that you understand that some things that you think might be impossible is definitely possible. So the third tip is for you to have a plan and work it. So as I mentioned earlier in this video, with manifesting, it's not just like a vision board where you stick it on there and then you kind of walk away from it, hoping that it happens. With manifesting, you actually have to meet the vibration. You actually have to put in some work. You actually have to have a plan. So for instance, a lot of people always say, well, I want to lose weight. Okay, that's great that you want to take control of your health. But when you're losing weight, what are your plans? Do you plan to change your lifestyle? Do you plan to, get on a diet, then maybe, go back to some other things? Like, are you planning to cut things out? A lot of times we'll see people that make a New Year's resolution that, hey, I want to lose weight, but then they don't lose it. And that's because they didn't have a plan. So with manifesting, if that's something that you do want to manifest, you want to make sure that you have a plan for how you plan to do that. So let's go ahead with step number 4. Step number 4 is to be patient and to always hold fast to your dreams. And the reason that you want to do that is simply because I think we live in a click away society. Some people would even say a microwave society, but I said click away because you can order something on Amazon and have it delivered the same day, depending on where you live, or the next day. And so I think with us having things given to us so fast that if we don't get what we want or manifest for, we're quick to kind of lose our dream and not be patient because it's like, oh, it's taking too long. I need something to happen right away. Stuff just don't happen right away. Stuff that's worth waiting for, stuff that will actually change your life, you will have to work for it. And not only will you have to work for it, but sometimes you might have to wait because you might not be ready for it. And I was watching a video by Kiara Shear the other day with her and her husband. And he mentioned like how sometimes people will say, oh, I want $1 million. And they won't even have like a checking account. And I think that's very true. So you want $1 million, but you don't have a checking account. Like, where's the $1 million going? Are you prepared to have $1 million? Because sometimes you can manifest for $1 million, and let's just say for some kind of way you win the lottery and you get the $1 million. And probably if you aren't ready for it, by the next week, you won't even have the $1 million. And the reason why you won't have it because you would have bought all these material things instead of investing the money, or you might have given it all away to family members or friends who say that, hey, my bills due and blase, blase. And so the only thing you're left with is, well, I had $1 million, but I don't have it anymore. So maybe it's a process of teaching you how to be financially responsible first, and then you'll get to the $1 million. That's just a thought. But yeah, let's go ahead with step number 5. So with step number 5, it is to not limit yourself. And I mentioned this earlier, but I really think this is very important that you don't limit yourself. And the reason that you don't want to limit yourself, because when you put limits on yourself, you put limits on God. And that's the way I feel about it. When you say, well, I can't do X, Y, and Z, or I will never X, Y, and Z, then in my point of view, the universe doesn't know when you're playing and it doesn't know when you're serious. I always have conversations with people that I help out and tell them, like, don't speak negativity over your life. Don't speak limits over your life because anything is possible. And personally with myself, I've seen some things where it's like, I never thought that I would be able to, own certain types of businesses, in my 20s. I never thought that I would be able to win certain types of awards in my 20s, but I have. And that's simply because I didn't limit myself. I don't believe in limits, and I don't believe that you should limit yourself. And part of manifestation is understanding that you cannot limit yourself under any circumstance. Don't say what you can't do. Make sure that you kind of be like Shonda Rhimes and you say yes, yes, yes to the right things now. And then you understand that you don't want to put any limits when you are saying yes in those different circumstances. So with that being said, make sure that you try manifestation out. It's so many different ways that you can do it, and there's so many different videos on YouTube to help guide that process. And I promise if you do it and you actually use these steps right here, you will have so much success. So make sure that you like, you share, and you subscribe to the video, and I will see you next time.